Hi everyone, welcome back to our videos on business studies, and this is still on market research. And let's move on to part two. Initially, in the last video, we have spoken about primary research, secondary research, and you have yet to talk about quantitative and qualitative research, which will be what we'll be focusing on in today's video, right? Now, let's move on. So, what is quantitative research? It is a research that leads to numerical results that can be statistically analyzed. It's quite a mouthful, right? So, basically, if you're going to do a research and you're going to need numbers to help you validate your research, right? Then you will be doing a quantitative or numerical research. A qualitative research is basically using non-numerical data, all right, or looking at people's buying behavior, what causes people to buy something. So it talks about non-numerical research into the in-depth motivation behind consumers' buying behavior or opinions. So both these research are two different types of research, one involving numbers, the other one is not. Let's look at a little bit more in terms of when these research are used. In a quantitative research, perhaps a business want to find out about, a market size of a particular industry, right? Whether to go into it, whether that is the market that they want to approach. They want to look at how big the market is, so numerical information may be needed, or how sales is declining, right? Or even the number of new competitors. Okay, so these would revolve around quantitative information, right? For example, the questions that the business would like to find out is how many people in this country would likely buy from us. Okay, and in terms of the method used, very clearly we will look at some information that looks at numbers, quantitative information, right? And how do you get this information? You may look at a primary research or even a secondary research, which means you may engage on a field research or a desk research, right? By asking questions and getting the numbers in, or looking at data available online on the internet and so forth. Okay. Now, in terms of qualitative research, we look at people's buying behavior. So, questions or objectives of conducting such a research would be something like which customers are we to target, which new product to develop. So, we look at who, right, and why, right? So, these involves qualitative kind of research, right? So, questions could also involve why do customers prefer company wise product, what is exciting, what is nice about it, right? And the same thing goes, we will look at qualitative information, because if you want to ask why a person would like to buy something, you would not get numbers, you would get you would get responses like perhaps the quality of the product or the packaging, right? So of quantitative information, qualitative information. And similarly, you would be able to get this information whether you do it in a primary research method or a secondary. That means gathering first-hand information or searching from the internet. You'd still be able to find some qualitative data as opposed to only having quantitative data. Okay, so just a bit of a recap if you're confused. We spoke about primary and secondary research before because those are methods to gather information. Deeper down into these two methods, we can gather information in the form of numbers or in the form of a qualitative value. And that's the purpose of today's presentation. Okay. Now, let's test yourself as always by answering some of the questions here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And the 5 questions on the screen: how to define qualitative research, to define quantitative research, to explain the relationship between quantitative research and primary research, and to explain the relationship between qualitative and secondary research, and why might qualitative research be useful, right? Give a business example. Right, so I hope the previous explanation that I did on the slide before would help you to answer these questions on your own. Yes, this shows that we are at the end of today's very short lesson on a quick recap of what quantitative and qualitative research means. As usual, share, like, subscribe if you find these videos useful for you. Thank you and have a pleasant day ahead.